So there's one way that I think the Titans should honor Delanie Walker. So I do think it is time for Delanie Walker and other Titans, not him alone, to go into the Titans Ring of Honor. I think it's interesting that if you look at the Titans Ring of Honor, and I'm curious to see what the Titans will do with the new stadium and the Ring of Honor, but there's not a lot of players who spent their entire career. Actually, there are 0 players who spent their entire playing career as Titans, because the only players who have spent their career in a Titans uniform that are in the Ring of Honor: Eddie George, Bruce Matthews, Steve McNair, and Frank Wycheck. Everybody else is a Oiler only player, or Jeff Fisher's in it, Floyd Reese is in it as coach and GMs. KS Bud Adams is in it, obviously. Mike Munchak, who player and coach for the organization for a long time. But they have not added a Titans only player into the Ring of Honor ever. And that kind of like caught me by surprise. And so I think Delanie Walker has a career that's worth honoring with that Ring of Honor.
Well, I think the tough part is that the era between McNair and where we are, there's some bad football teams, right?
I don't disagree.
And so, like, the Ring of Honor, when I think of Ring of Honor, I laugh because we're talking about Ring of Honor and putting Delanie Walker in. Jerry Jones has yet to put Jimmy Johnson in the Cowboy Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so, but we know.
But I do think that that's funny, right?
Like that's like, that's personal.
Hey, it is what it is. He's still not in. Yeah. I think for the Ring of Honor and what it stands for, I think Titans fans that have been true Titans fans for a very long time, they know, when I think of Steve McNair, I think of Eddie George, and I think of Eddie George, I think of Frank Wycheck. Those are kind of the 3 of that era. You obviously have Keith Bullock of that era that, impacted quite a bit, and Mr. Monday Night, which is one of the best nicknames that I feel like is not talked about enough. But Mr. Monday Night, and the Titans have had some good quality players. I've seen the comments. You bring up Michael Griffin, you bring up Jarrell Casey, who was a consistent Pro Bowler at defensive tackle. And they moved off of Jarrell Casey and replaced him with Jeffrey Simmons. That's a pretty good replacement right there. But,
Chris Johnson. I mean, there's some really good players.
Chris Johnson has the 2,000-yard season. Yeah. But, here's the thing. Delanie Walker, he played longer in San Francisco than he did in Tennessee. Now, he had a lot better career as the Titan or as a Titan.
Right.
You have Javon Curse. You've got a lot of big-time names. But I do think that, and Austin, I think that you and I, we both feel this because this was, we're covering the football team while they were really, really bad. You need, God knows what the franchises would have been without Delanie Walker. I kind of think about that. They could have fallen into the Jacksonville Jaguars to a degree if you don't have the leadership of, a guy like Delanie Walker. So I think that the Ring of Honor makes the most sense as kind of the next step. You got to kind of give it some time after he retires. So I don't know when that is going to be.
Yeah.
But if I had a list of next guys up, I put Delanie Walker at the top over Chris Johnson, over Michael Griffin. Keith Bullock probably maybe up there. Yeah. But the impact of what Delanie Walker did cannot go unnoticed.
Yeah, and so I see some comments, people saying Michael Roos and David Stewart. David Stewart, no. Michael Roos, maybe.
Big Country?
Yeah, I don't think Big Country is going to get in there. But again, I think it's interesting to me that there has not been a single Titans-only player in the Ring of Honor. And they didn't really touch the Ring of Honor for a while until last year. They put in the trio of Bum Phillips, Jeff Fisher, and of Floyd Reese. And so they took this year off. So there was not a class of 2022 Ring of Honor like there was the trio in 2021. So are they getting something ready? Were they waiting on a stadium situation? Was that kind of why they were doing that this year? But there are several guys that deserve it. Delanie Walker absolutely deserves to be in that Ring of Honor, and other guys in his era. I think it's really just Ring of Honor level. It's Delanie and Jarrell Casey, maybe Brett Kern.